Hi guys, it's Didi here, and in today's video I want to share with you 5 books that help me dealing with stress, overwhelm and anxiety. I normally prefer reading books, but these particular books I would tend to listen to many times, because usually when I go to sleep and my mind is going crazy with thousands of things I need to do and I cannot turn off my mind, I usually tend to put my headphones and listen to these books. So I must say I must have listened to these books hundreds of times by now. Okay, so the first 2 books are The 4th Agreement and The 5th Agreement by Don Miguel Ruiz, and I tend to alternate between the two. I absolutely love these books, and it was mind opener for me years ago when for the first time I came across The 4 Agreements. What Don Miguel Ruiz talks about in the book is about the domestication of the humans and about the dream of the planet. We are all dreaming all the time. Even when we are awake, we are actually dreaming. And when a child is born, we are getting into the dream of the society, of the community, of the family unit, of the church unit, whatever it's our circumstances. So what happens is that our parents, our teachers, our people around us, adults around us, are domesticating us. They're teaching us what's good, what's bad, what's right, what's wrong, what's ugly, what's beautiful. And we sign up, we agree on the things that they say, because honestly at that stage we don't even have choice. We are children, we believe everything they say, and we tend to adopt beliefs of other people, which may not be helpful at the time. So what he says is 95% of the things that we believe nowadays, it's actually lie, it's not true. And in order for us to live this fearful life, because Don Miguel Ruiz says what happens is we don't have to die to go to hell, we are actually already in hell. There is so much violence, fear, anxiety among people, but this is because we bought into this dream. If you want to change our personal circumstances and if you want to have a life of pleasure, which we are meant to have anyways, we will have to break these agreements. And in the book he says the most powerful 4 agreements to start with are going to help us break the hundreds of others agreements that we got. And by agreement, what do I mean is everything in the sense of somebody says you're never good at mathematics or you'll never be good at marketing or whatever they say. If you agree with what they say, you are going to believe it and it's going to be part of your personality. So in order for us to break free, in order to enjoy life, we need to break these agreements. And the first 4 are, I'm not going to go into the details, maybe I'll do another video if you're interested, but be impeccable with your word, because we are all magicians in the sense of that our words are very powerful, and if we don't use them properly, they're going to hurt us and others. And by being impeccable, he means being impeccable to ourselves as well, because when we adopt all these beliefs that society imposes on us, we become judges. We start judging other people and we start, most importantly, judge ourselves. So being impeccable with your word is the first one. Moving to don't take anything personal. If somebody is nasty to you or bad, they are projecting their own negative things on you rather than you being the center of their attention. The third one is don't make assumptions. The fourth one is always do your best. And I particularly like the 5th agreement as well, because not only gives me synthesis of the first book, but also introduces the 5th agreement, which says be skeptical but learn to listen. And by skeptical, it doesn't mean, oh, I don't believe what this book says or that book says because I know better. It means 95% of the things you hear are lies anyways. Just be aware of that. But also learn to listen, because if you listen to the other people's dreams or the other people sending you information through their own way of understanding life, then you become a much better communicator. So yeah, these 2 books, I absolutely love them and I love listening to them as well. The 3rd book is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and this is by far one of my favorite books to listen to when I go to sleep, because his voice is so relaxing and so enlightening, and he speaks really slowly, and it's really I have to listen to 30 minutes and then I go to bed easily. He talks about the book about why are we so anxious, why there is so much fear. It is just because we humans tend to focus on the past or in the future. We don't really live in the present moment. And of course, if you sit down and you think about all the mistakes I did, or how my day went yesterday, and all the things that I said wrongly, or probably I wasn't a good parent or a good boss, Or if you think about, oh, what do I need to do tomorrow? And if I go to the doctor's appointment, probably what they'll tell me. You're always living either in the past or in the future. And this is where pain comes from, and this is where anxiety comes from. If you learn to live in the current moment, which may not be as hard as we think it is, and he teaches us how, then all pain will disappear. And he says the pain comes from the fact that we don't want to accept things that we cannot change. In a certain situation, you always have a choice either to remove yourself from the situation, to change the situation, or to accept the situation. But you always still have a choice. And how powerful is that to know that you are the one who in fact decides. In the book he talks a lot about how we live through our life unconsciously, and I can make a comparison to the Don Miguel Ruiz book where he says we are all sleeping. It's the same thing. We live unconsciously because we are not awakened to see the things that matter, to see the truth, which is actually that we human beings are perfect. The fourth book is The Vortex by Esther Hicks, which presents to us the teachings of Abraham. And if you follow my channel, you'll know that this is by far one of my favorite books for the past 14 months. In the book, we learn how to get into the vortex. She goes through the different flawed premises that we believed, we adopted, and because we are judging our life and the life of others through these flawed premises, of course, we are getting out of our vortex, which means we experience lots of negative emotions. So we are all equipped with a GPS, internal GPS system when we are born, which tells us how we can be true to our inner being. And this inner being is always beautiful, it's always perfect. Our core essence is always perfect. But somehow most of us tend to suffer a lot because we think that we are doing things that other people expect from us more than being true to the things that we want to do. We often say no when we should say yes, or we say yes when we should say no, and this changes our vibration, takes us out of our alignment, and pain appears and suffering appears. In the book, she talks a lot about the relationship with ourselves, but also relationship with others. We as parents, we as mates, as partners. She talks a lot about the relationship with we as friends, or we as God, the big force. So in a way, it's a beautiful book to show you how you can develop better relationship in life. And we all know that life is about the relationships we have. And the last book is You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. She was one of the pioneers in talking about affirmations, about the connection between mind and body, about the power of our thoughts and how we can use our thoughts to change our circumstances. And nowadays everybody talks about that, but at the time when Louise Hay wrote that, there wasn't much information about this, so she was really pioneering it. In the book, Louise Hay talks about how we can choose what to focus on in our life, and if we focus on the positive and we deliberately change the chain of our thoughts, we can heal ourselves. All disease, according to her, physical disease, comes from the fact that we have lots of negative thoughts and the fact that we are not true to ourselves as well, and that manifests somatically in our body. She goes through the book to shows the connection between mind and body and which organ is responsible for what as well. And she devoted a whole chapter on the fact that we accept often beliefs that we should question. These beliefs are making our life painful or make us suffer, but we should question the truthness of these beliefs. Now you may ask, what's common between these 5 books, and how come these are books that help me deal with anxiety and stress and overwhelm? Yes, these are not books that are how to deal with stress, how to deal with anxieties, but for me they are in a deeper level, because these books remind me something that I tend to forget often. They remind me that in our true self, in our core essence, we are beautiful humans. We are here to experience the beauty of life, to experience the pleasure of life. We came here to enjoy life. But somehow along the way, because of all the things that have been imposed on us in terms of beliefs, in terms of agreements that we signed upon, we forgot about this, and we now tend to suffer more, to live fearful life, to be afraid of things, to be afraid of saying the things that we want to say, and we forget that our core essence is always perfect. It reminds me as well that throughout the day we most often sleep. We act and react to situations instead of responding to situations from a conscious state. All of these authors talk about how we are mainly dreaming or mainly unconscious, and how powerful is our thought, how powerful is our word that we use during the day. Also, it gives me hope that if we choose to build a different life, if we're not happy with the life we have, we can do it. It depends on us. It's not something which is written in the stars somewhere on the sky. It's our responsibility to create the life the way we want it. And how powerful is that to know that we do not depend on circumstances, but we actually have a free choice. A lot of people nowadays talk about freedom. We want to be free. I want to give the freedom to my children. But in fact, the only person who stops you from having the freedom you want is yourself, nobody else. You may say it's the relationship we are in, or the circumstances we're in, or the government, or the culture, but it is actually yourself or myself. We are the people who stop ourselves to experience freedom. So that's the reason why these books help me a lot, because they're a great reminder, and when I listen to them over and over, it gets easier for me to get back to the positive emotions, or to get back believing that I'm a powerful creator, or to become more aware of the things that I say to other people, and most importantly, to become less judgmental, not towards others only, but less judgmental to myself. And most importantly for me is as well to question all the beliefs, which is not only my beliefs that I have, but things that people say around me. Is this really true? Why do I take it as truth without putting it into question before? So that's it from me, my friends. I really hope that you'll go and buy these 5 books and dive into their pages and learn from the wisdom that they're there to offer. Don't forget, you are a beautiful human being. We are all beautiful human beings. We don't have to suffer. It's in many ways a choice, and even if it's a choice that we not consciously made, now consciously we can choose something else for ourselves. I would love to hear from you, sharing your own books and your own tools that you use to deal with your anxieties and your stressful situations. I would love if you can leave me a comment below in the comment box and share what are the things that help you. If you like this video, please give me a thumb up, share it with your friends, and join me on Instagram. I will see you next Tuesday. Bye guys! The third one. Leave me a comment box below, sharing me by sharing last time. That's it.